talking about a special attribute of the astrology signs, the feet, which is quadruped, bipedal, insect. This is an extremely important and overlooked quality of astrology signs, and I'm making a quick video about that today. This feet attribute is a universal attribute for each zodiac sign, and I keep this in mind all the time. It's something that's not really talked about so much. And there are 4 different feet attributes. The first is called quadruped, which is 4-legged signs. Literally, it's like, the ram. Aries is a ram, which is like it's a male sheep with big horns. They have 4 legs. 4 legs on the ground, right? Taurus is a bull. They also have 4 legs on the ground, right? Leo is also quadruped, 4 legs on the ground because it's a lion, right? And then you also have the front part of Capricorn, which is also called Makara, which means crocodile. Think of a crocodile. And this is why I use the crocodile symbol for Capricorn, by the way, because Makara also means things like sea monster and all of that. But the best word, or the best animal for Capricorn is the crocodile. And you can really see the crocodile symbol in the feet attribute, because it's quadruped up front, 4 legs up front, and then footless in the back. Footless is like a fish with the long tail. So again, this is a way to actually research and do astrology, for example. Like, look for different kinds of information rather than saying things like, I heard Makara, or I heard Capricorn was a mountain lion, or I'm sorry, a mountain goat in Western astrology, or sea monster. But you say crocodile. Why? Well, it also means crocodile. But this is one of the reasons why I use the crocodile attribute, because it's literally 4 legs up front, like a crocodile, and a long tail in the back. Okay? Then you also have footless, which is like a fish. Fish don't have feet. They have a fin in the back. That's how they move. Again, remember that the feet attribute is how we move. If you're a quadruped, you move a certain way. 4 legs on the ground, a certain kind of movement. Right? So then you have bipedal as well, which is 2 feet, right? Like a human. These are the human rashis, right? Gemini. Now Gemini is interesting because it's the first bipedal, but it's actually 4 feet because it's 2 humans. So look at how this works. You have the first 2 signs are quadruped, Aries and Taurus, 4 feet. And then the first bipedal Rashi, Gemini, is also 4 feet. But it's 2 bipedal people. 2 bipedal people. A male and a female, a man and a woman, which is the nature of Gemini, very dual. So even though it's bipedal, which is the human sign, because it's 2 bipedals, it's still actually 4 feet. And then the next, besides the human rashis, which are Gemini, Virgo, because Virgo is a young girl, Libra, which is actually a man carrying a scale, and Aquarius, which is a man carrying an empty pot. And I forgot to mention that also the second part of Sagittarius is also quadruped, because the first part of Sagittarius is bipedal. So Sagittarius and Capricorn have 2, right? So for Sagittarius, the first section is bipedal, which is 2 feet, and the rear end is quadruped. And then the first part of Capricorn is quadruped, and the second half is footless. So you see this transition in Capricorn, where there's actually 30 degrees of quadruped between Sagittarius and Capricorn that falls at the end of Sagittarius and the beginning of Capricorn. You have sort of one animal or one quadruped tendency for those 30 degrees, right? So again, because Sagittarius it's probably originally said to be like a man on a horse, where the first part of it is the man, which is the bipedal, and then the back legs, the quadruped, is the back. of Sagittarius with the 4 legs, which is related to the horse part, right? Want to subscribe, but even if you are subscribed, you want to click this little bell that says get notified about every new video. You want to click that, and then you will be notified, and it has the little ringer on after you do that. So make sure to... So with bipedal, you have Gemini, Libra, Virgo, Aquarius, and the first 15 degrees of Sagittarius. All right. Then you also have the insect or the watery attribute. Insect or watery is Cancer and Scorpio. Okay. Now they are not as strong as the quadrupeds, which are solid, or the bipedals, the humans. Insect watery are, like crabs and scorpions, which they happen to move a totally different way, right? The insect has a lot of feet, and they kind of skitter around. They kind of, they don't move, with strength forward or with average strength as the human, but they're kind of in a shell. Scorpion lives in holes. Cancer has a shell. They kind of burrow into the sand, or they hide. So all of these things that I'm telling you about are deeply psychological, right? And again, in the Psychological Astrology Weekend course, I talked about all kinds of psychological profiles and how to understand the mind, how to understand astrology on that psychological level. And in fact, we covered so much ground, especially the last day. We did so many case studies that I didn't get to talking about these special traits. So I'm going to be doing another class. The people that already bought the class, they're just invited for free. But if you didn't get it, you can get it at a special discount. It'll be a 3-hour class, and you can get it. And I'll just talk about the psychological qualities of these feet, this feet attribute. So for example, again, as it says here, the quadruped, the strongest overall, like the 4 legs of a table, the most stable and solid and steady, yet not as adaptable, right? For example, you don't see lions walking backwards or walking side to side. Those 4 legs are like, they're good at moving forward, not so good at moving side to side. Again, that's a whole other thing. They're very, like 4 legs of a table, very solid, but not so adaptable, and in some ways even not as kind of intuitive and sensitive, like the footless and the insect watery have that kind of, as you notice, insect and watery are the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, right? So they're more protective, more vulnerable, but also more enduring. They're ancient creatures. So again, there's a lot to say about these attributes. I'm just giving an overview here, and I'm going to go into the psychology of these things as it relates to each sign. And of course, not just quadruped, but how is the qualities of Aries quadruped, Taurus quadruped, Leo, last half of Sagittarius, first part of Capricorn. How are these different expressions of quadruped? Again, bipedal is the next strongest. They're more adaptable than a quadruped, yet not quite as strong. So for example, the 2 feet on the ground, the human rashis are, they're not quite as strong and as enduring as the quadrupeds. Just think of a lion, or especially a lion or a big cow. They're big, lunky animals, right? They're solid creatures. Well, humans are next, and they're more adaptable. Like they can move side to side. They can move forward, can also move back, can move side to side. They can also carry a lot of weight. They can also carry and handle a lot of pressure. And again, this is one of the things you can see about the quadrupeds. They like that sort of pressure, that sort of, that kind of, you can pile a lot on them and they can hold it, like 4 legs of a table, right? You could put a lot on top of it, and they kind of like that, but it's also carrying a lot of burdens, looking for big burdens to carry. Humans, the human rashis, the bipedals, can also carry quite a few burdens, not as many and not quite as strong, but they're more adaptable, right? And then the insect, not as powerful as the bipedal or quadruped overall, yet more clingy, tenacious, the best at evasive, lateral, movements, particularly the insect and particularly the insect watery attribute. More than anything, they're trying to hide from danger because they can get easily crushed. You can easily step on them, literally. They have these exoskeletons that are vulnerable to either quadrupeds or humans, right? So this is why the Scorpio, the Cancer, spend a lot of time trying to evade and avoid getting stepped on and crushed by the quadrupeds or the humans, right? So it just shows that emotional vulnerability that they protect. And then Footless, Pisces is the least forward moving, yet the most able to relax into the flow. Only Pisces is footless throughout. And I forgot to put on this chart that the second half of Capricorn is also footless, right? So it's Pisces and the second half of Capricorn are both footless, right? So that's the feet attribute, right? And then another attribute is the appearance, which I'll talk about in an upcoming video as well. The appearance of the Rashi shows the nature of things that are produced, just like the feet show the inherent strength and character of that sign and the planets operating in it. The appearance shows the nature of the things that are produced. Like, there's large, there's long, there's even, there's bulky, there's medium, there's slender and hairy. And so I'll talk about that in an upcoming video, but this is a great, upcoming course that I'm offering. Weekend course, it's live. Zoom video, you actually get to speak with me as well and my senior students. It'll be upcoming. It's not that expensive. I made it very affordable because I want a lot of people to come and enjoy that experience. And I'm going to talk about this in great detail, like 3 hours. I'm going to do feet, appearance, and also body part, because body part is also really important, how the body part is connected to the sign and the psychology. So go ahead and sign up for that. I'd love to have you on there. It's very affordable for anyone. You can attend in real time. If you can't attend in real time, then you get the recording. And you can get the recording later on. But it'll be a great weekend course. It's on Zoom video conference in real time. And it'll be a great time for you to go deeply into these special traits of the astrology signs and how those things influence the psychology. So thanks for watching. Share this with others, and I'd love to see you all.